Hello again, everybody. This is Derek coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In today's video, we're going to continue on with our What's in the Box series. And in today's What's in the Box, we're going to continue on with our Flames of War boxes that we've been going through the last few days. In this box, we have a Fallschirmjager company, which is the German paratroopers. 26 infantry teams. So every single base here, machine gun, leader, Panzerschreck, whatever it is, counts as an infantry team. This is for late war, not the early war Fallschirmjägers. And this is a box set for Flames of War, which is a 15mm World War II miniature game. 1/100 scale or 15mm. Now what you get in the box, it seems like it's pretty straightforward. It just says 26 infantry teams, but what we see here is 18 MG42 and Kar 98 rifle teams. So these Fallschirmjägers don't have the FG42s. They're not the cool kids on the block. We got 4 Panzerschreck anti-tank teams, 2 unit leaders, and 2 formation commands. This is an MP40 submachine gun. This is a Kar 98. But because I don't actually play Flames of War, even though I think it's a really good game, I think it's top-notch, and the models are definitely 100% top-notch, I actually prefer a game called Battle Group. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up, and let's see what we get inside. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up this box and see what we get. There is a lot of the new ABS plastic sprues. I'm totally digging that. Of course, we're getting the bases, and reaching deep inside here, we get some bubble wrap just as filler to keep everything nice and tight in the box. Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's start off by taking... Oh, I don't see any unit cards. No unit card. Take a look in the box. Nope, no unit card. Okay, well that's perfectly fine because, like I said, I don't play Flames of War, so I don't really need those unit cards. Okay, these are plugs, which are... I wish I could buy just a pack of plugs because, like I said, I play Battle Group, and the organization of the bases is really up to me because Battle Group is a man-to-man game where you mount your figures individually, but they also recommend that if you're playing large battles, you know, with company or higher, that you should mount them on movement stands like this to facilitate movement, because just moving 100 individual models, you know, would be so time consuming. Okay, so you get a bunch of these bases. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Flames of War bases. If you're watching this video, you probably are, but if you're new, they have numbers on the back of them, and this is kind of a inside baseball. They have small, which are these guys, right? Small bases, which are S bases. It'll have an S. This is a medium base, which will have an M. And then you have large bases, which will have an L. And then the next number, in this case, it says 4. And in this case, it should be 2. Yep, S2. Because... this is a small base with 2 holes, where this is a medium base with 4 holes. Now you can see, I don't know if you can with the glare and all that, but you can see that the whole configuration is not the same, but they have like M4.10, and then this one is M4.8. I do believe there are 12 patterns of bases, and then you also have M5, which would have the 5 holes. I don't think they make an M3. Okay, this one base has got a warp to it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's bent like that. If I leave it out in the heat, or if I put it in the oven, I could probably straighten that, or I could not worry about it, because it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now like this has 3 holes, usually for a command element. The 2 holes are usually for like little teams, Panzerfaust, not Panzerfaust, Panzerschreck or Bazooka, sniper teams or whatever would have a 2. And this should be S3. Yep, S301. I don't know if there are multiple patterns of the 3s. I think they're all exactly the same. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now the plugs are useful for me more than anybody else, is because, like I said, I mount my bases, I mount my figures according to the battle group TONE or army lists. And if I have like a 3-man team that I need to put on this base, I might wind up just mounting them on one of these bases to save. But if I need to put it on this kind of a base, maybe a mortar team or a machine gun team, then I will take one of these plugs and fill the hole to make the base flush. And that's one reason why I love Flames of War bases, is because of the holes. When you go to take one of these figures and you put it into that spot, it's actually winds up being a flush base where there's very little, if any, puttying necessary. Because when I go to do my basing material, or just painting the base and then maybe flocking it afterwards, I usually, with the Flames War bases, I usually don't concern myself with doing any puttying. But when I use just a standard wooden base and then I put one of these figures on it, it has a raised lip on their base. You got to put some kind of putty on there. But these are 15 millimeters. You probably don't need to do that much. But with like 28 millimeter models, you would have to do that. But 15 is not so much. Okay, so I just pulled all the sprues out just to see what we get. Okay, now just counting math-wise, we get 10 figures per sprue. Now let me make sure that they all have 10 figures. I don't care the composition of the figures, just the quantity. I'm going to get, okay, this doesn't have 10 figures. Okay, hold on. Okay, these all have 10. This looks like a specialty sprue. So let's set that off to the side. And it has things on this sprue that are not listed on the box. There's guys listed. There's a guy right there that's not listed on the box. That's why I do these what's in the box videos, so that you can find out exactly what you get. Okay, these all have 10. So that's 10 per sprue, 20 per stack. So we're looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20. So 120 figures right here. And then 8 more, so 128. Now, we are going to do a close-up where we can show you exactly what these figures look like. but just looking at them, it looks like there's little or no flash on these figures. Okay, but just to kind of give you a heads up, we got our two Panzerschrecks right here, and then these two sprues are the same. So that's where you're getting your 4 Panzerschrecks. And there's only one loader. So, like, I could use this other kneeling NCO or any of these other figures, to be his cohort. But that's where you're getting your Panzerschrecks. But this guy right here is carrying a flamethrower, right? So you get 2 guys with flamethrower. And then you also get this, it's a airborne anti-tank gun. It's super small. I think it's 20 millimeter, if my memory serves me right. Panzerbusch, I think is what the name is. You get the carriage and you get the gun. And then you get this guy here, looks like he's gunning with the Panzerbusch. Yeah, he has to be, because it looks like there's a hand. No, maybe not. I was going to say, it looks like there's a hand pre-modeled onto the Panzerbusch, but it's not. But he's got this gap in his hands right here. I'll show you when we zoom in, where I guess the back end of the Panzerbusch would go into that. And then you got an officer pointing with a pistol. These guys are all wearing the jump smocks, tied around their thighs, right? And then you got a kneeling MG42, not MG42, MP40. And then you got a guy with a box of ammo, which I would assume would go with the Panzerbusch. But it does not list the Panzerbusch on the box. It also does not list a flamethrower on the box. Okay. Interesting. Now, if I was just to take all these figures and just count bases of figures, has nothing to do with the actual bases of the designed army as part of the army list. Okay, and this does say 26 teams. So 24, and then if you count the 4 Panzerschreck teams, that's 28. And then if you count the officers, 28. Yeah, so it's probably closer to 28 total amount. With the Panzerbusch being another stand or two, 30 stands I would assume you could theoretically make, even though the box is 26. Okay, so that's the Panzerbusch teams. Now let me see if any of these are duplicated, and then, because when I zoom in, I don't want to do duplicates, right? You understand that. This looks like a machine gun. And there's another flamethrower right there. Okay, so you're going to have to cut out all the flamethrowers for these infantry teams, because those would belong in engineering teams, I would assume. While I'm kind of digging through this, I'm also looking at the quality of the mold. Okay, this is a different sprue. Yep, that's a different sprue. It's very similar, but it is different. Oh, and this is all officers and junk. Officers and NCOs on this sprue. Except for maybe him, and there's another flamethrower. Okay. So there's a number of flamethrowers. Okay, so this is how the sprues are broken down. You got the NCOs and officers. You got an officer and a few NCOs here as well in the Panzerschreck. You get, it looks like there's MP40s on every sprue, so that's where you can get your NCOs at. And then these are all your machine gunners and loaders. You have a carrying it under the arm, you have a prone, and then you've got a standing shoulder firing. The shoulder firing guy, you would think, would have a guy kneeling in front of him. Probably this guy. Yep, with a bipod. Then you got your prone ammo bearer. And then you got your standing ammo bearer. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 machine guns and crew on each of these. So you're getting 12 machine guns, which, now my understanding is that in Flames of War, they use 2 bases to represent a squad, and most of them would be on those 8 figures would be riflemen, but one might be an MP40 and another one might be the machine gunner. And so they consider it a machine gun rifle team. So each base rolls with the same number of dice, as opposed to like one base only firing rifles and then another base firing a mixture of rifles and machine guns. They just say they're both machine gun rifle teams, which makes it easier for math. You don't have to worry about calculating like where the machine gun is, and you don't have to worry about casualties and stuff like that. You just treat it as a stand. Okay, so now I was able to split these up by their what the bases or what the stands look like, but there are 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and there are 4 of these and 4 of these. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the camera, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to actually look at the quality and the detail of this soft ABS plastic. It's not soft like Airfix, and it's not hard like polystyrene model kits. It's somewhere in between, a lot like Warlord resin. I think it's a very similar product. It's ABS, soft plastic, and I don't see any mold lines. Oh, okay, maybe there is a mold line on that guy. Okay, but either way, let's go ahead and zoom in, take a look. All right, guys, so this is the, I'm going to call it an elite sprue. This is going to have the Panzerschreck and the Panzerbusch and a flamethrower. It's the one that I felt was kind of odd. Okay, so there's your NCO, or officer with a handgun, flamethrower, Panzerschreck, Panzerbusch gunner, and the Panzerbusch base. Got the ammo bearer for the Panzerbusch and the barrel and gun for the Panzerbusch. I think that if you put this in boiling water and then straighten it out and let it dry, or let it cool, it'll be straight. All right, so I might test that out on camera in a future video. Okay, so we got an NCO kneeling, probably good for this Panzerschreck, and then there's your wait a second. That's the flamethrower. Looking at the back. That's his flamethrower canister. Flipping it over. Is there a second flamethrower? No, what is this guy? Oh, he's the loader for the standing Panzerschreck. He's got a round that'll load into the standing Panzerschreck. And you'll notice that you can take just be conscious of this. the smocks are sometimes buckled and sometimes open, and then there's also sometimes they have a helmet cover and sometimes they don't. Okay, so there is that sprue. Then the NCO officer sprue is very, very specific. There's an officer there. NCO waving. Got two of them, they're identical. Got one kneeling. One pointing. We got an officer. Pistol, binoculars in his hand. And there's another flamethrower. So this means there's going to be at least 4 flamethrowers in this pack. Okay, I didn't want to go through and count all the Panzerfausts, but there are quite a few. Like here's one, and there's one. That's 2 just in this row. Yeah, so there's 2 on those, so that'd be 4 on those 2 sprues. Okay, this is the unusual sprue that is a little different than the rest of the infantry sprues, but it's still infantry. And you can see their smocks are kind of open, kneeling. And they have that unusual German helmet, which is kind of more flat or bowl-shaped. I think that's so it doesn't interfere with their risers on their parachutes. There's another Panzerfaust. Flipping. Okay, front and back. Okay, good. There's a rifleman. Here's a guy with a Panzerfaust just over his shoulder. Guy with a grenade. And then your MP40. Okay, so that's those sprues. Now, this is your regular infantry sprue. This is the one that you get 4 of. And I'm not saying that every box is going to be exactly the same, but this is what I got in my box. So, what does he have on his back? We're going to have to figure that out. Oh, it's his rifle, because he's firing a Panzerfaust, and so he has a rifle slung. Okay, what is that? I almost want to say that's a shotgun or something. What is that? Doesn't look like a rifle. Maybe that's supposed to be a machine gun. Low carry grenade, rifle. Flipping it over. Got a guy kneeling. Low. MP40. Rifle, and there's the guy, Panzerfaust. I keep saying Panzerschreck when I mean Panzerfaust. Okay, and then the final sprue type is the one with all the machine guns. MG42s, you got the guy standing. He needs the guy kneeling in front of him to hold it up. Now there's an ammo bearer, and you can see that he's got his spare barrel case across his back. All the ammo bearers do, and there's more flamethrowers. So that's at least 4 more flamethrowers. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's about 8 flamethrowers. Wow. Okay. And then there's the guy carrying the machine gun under his arm. NCO. there's the guy kneeling, ammo bearer that's kneeling, and then their assistant gunner, and then there's the assistant gunner prone, and then a couple more Panzer Fausts. I'm going to flip it around so you can see this ammo bearer or assistant gunner is actually holding a bipod, so the guy would rest his machine gun on top of that. And you notice he doesn't actually have a base like the rest of them do. So he would just go anywhere on the base. That would be in front of the machine gunner. All right, well, that was the Fallschirmjager company, right? Fallschirmjager company showing on the box. You can kind of see there are some machine gunners. If this is one platoon and that's another platoon, and then you've got your, that looks like 1, 2, 3 stands per squad. That would be 12. That's too many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't think the Germans had 12-man squads. So I would just, but then again, Fallschirmjägers might be different. I'll have to look at the TONE for that. You got a couple of Panzer Schreks right there, but I don't see any more Panzer Schreks in the picture. But when you come back here, it does say that there are 4 Panzer Schrek teams, which is true. There are 18 MG42 Kar 98 teams. So even though there's no MG42 on this base, the 2 bases that are in this squad, one of them would have the MG42. And then this is an MG42 and Kar leader, so you get 2 of those, and then the MP40 formation command, you get 2. Because this would be the company commander, but each platoon would have a leader as well. Yeah, and on this box, it does not say that it comes with any unit cards, decals, rule books, or anything like that. It's very straightforward, just the infantry teams. And that is exactly what you did get in the box. All right, guys. Well, I hope that helps you out in understanding what you get in a Fallschirmjager company. So, if you like this video, be sure to like it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in getting some figures painted for your army, contact me. I do commission work, and I also have an eBay store where I already assemble and sell various models from 15mm to 28mm from a variety of different brands and genres. So thank you for coming out and checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.